Hey everybody, it's Jason. How you doing? This is UpFront, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking with frontline workers. A lot of you have been staying home and staying safe, and in order that you can do that, a lot of individuals have been out there doing their thing, and we start this week. This was my first choice to begin because she has such a sweet heart to her, full of faith. She's a proud member of the VAC family. You've probably seen her in the prayer ministry. She's a big part of Hear the Music. And she is a professional counselor. Hello, Sandra Buller.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, first of all, okay, before we even begin, I want to address this. When I first asked you to do this, you had concerns and you said, well, I'm not a frontline worker. Okay, two things. Number one, you're wrong. I love you, but you're wrong, wrong, wrong. And number two, what you are doing in helping encourage others and just helping keeping them safe, you're invaluable, and I want you to receive that right away. All right?
Thank you, Jason. I will receive that.
Good. Okay, first of all, how are the Bullers? How has your life changed? Give us a really quick peek inside the Buller house right now.
Sure. Bullers are all hunkered down together. John's canceled all of his events in the foreseeable future for the Vernon area as well as across Canada, which has afforded him an incredible opportunity to really get into his ordination studies. And so coming next Wednesday, the 20th, he has his ordination interview for the Alliance Church, which means that if he passes, he will officially become a reverend, which is a huge accomplishment for him. We're super proud of him. And we have a grade 12 student in our home right now, Jackson, along with several of his friends in our church community, are anticipating a very strange and different graduation and trying really hard to finish well, which has been an interesting change, but it's good. We're looking for the positives within it. And Cassidy's in grade 5, learning from home now and tolerating our help in doing that, which I'm sure you can read between the lines on, but we're surviving. I am working from home, and I didn't want to call myself a frontline worker because I have this incredible ability to still do what I do, but within a really safe environment. And so I'm currently practicing via Zoom and phone calls. And so the Bullers have been practicing really large social isolating, which is why I don't feel like a frontline worker right now, but I still receive what you said. So thank you.
Oh, that's good. No, well, hey, first of all, congratulations. Well, advanced congratulations, Reverend John, and to Jackson. That's awesome. Good news. Now let's talk Zoom. Hey, you're right at home here. As a counselor, inevitably you have seen as probably, I'm just guessing here because it has been a topic of discussion and concern, mental health, anxiety, depression. There's an increase because, let's face it, these are uncertain times. Am I right in that?
You are 100% right. Yeah. Fear is a great feeder of both depression and anxiety, and those like to hang out together, depression and anxiety. And so I know a lot of people have been trying to navigate emotions they're not all that familiar with, actually. Our mind is not always our friend at times like this. And so we have to remember that quarantine goes against our human nature. We are made in the image of God, who is triune, and so we are actually built for relationship, and everything about quarantine feels more like solitary confinement to so many people, especially the extroverts out there. But even the introverts, I know, are needing to be very strategic about staying in relationship any way possible. Keep your friends close and reach out to the resources that are out there, whether through our church or just in the community at large.
Okay, so you already touched on some of the things you can do. If someone is watching this tonight or this morning, depending on when you're tuning in, and is struggling and is hurting, do you have any, like, and I know it's probably a deep conversation, but any quick tips, advice on what they could do?
Yeah, that is such a big question and so hard for my counselor heart to answer in a minute or less. But the biggest thing I want you to know is you're actually not alone. depression has a way of trying to convince you that you're alone and that nobody cares. And I just want to tell you that thought is actually a lie. And I know it's a lie because God gives us a promise that he never leaves us or forsakes us. And so I just want to speak to you if you are feeling alone and tell you that there is a God who loves you and he is right there with you. And if you're having trouble hearing him, I really encourage you to reach out, because often he uses people to speak to us and into us through. And so please don't stay isolated. Please don't believe the lie that nobody cares. And please reach out. And I encourage you to call the church and ask for prayer. And I know that we would love to meet you in that place and just help you overcome the lies that might be speaking in your head. And they don't even sound like lies. They just sound like the truth. But the enemy's a good liar. I'll just say that.
Yes, yes. I'll even add one to it, because you gave me some really good advice one time when I was struggling with something, where you said sometimes you just need a safe person. Doesn't matter who it is. If you are comfortable with them, sometimes we just need to share. We need to fully express what we're going through. So
absolutely.
How can the church pray for you and your family?
Thank you for that. I think that it is hard. It is just hard for us, like it is for anyone, to be in close quarters. And so we would love your prayers for unity. We would love for your prayers that we could come through this better and stronger as a family unit than before it happened. And I love that I see fruit of this in the community. When we take our eyes off of all the fear stuff that's happening, I have to notice that when I'm driving down the street, I see family groups walking together that I have never seen before in my neighborhood, and the relationships that are building in the community. And I just think, man, if we could do one simple task, each of us, and that's whenever we think of something negative, which is very easy to do right now, counter that thought with something positive that is coming from this time, I think we start to balance the scales. And that actually helps us a lot in our mental health. And so even for the Bullers, we need help sometimes balancing the negatives with the positives. And we receive any prayers you have for us that keeps us hopeful and positive, because I know that's where the victory is going to come from.
You got it.
Awesome.
Thank you for taking care of us.
And Jason, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Some people in church might know this, but I know this. And I know that your family is anticipating Allie's wedding this weekend. And this is not how we once thought it would be. And so from our church to your home, I just pray blessing upon blessing for you as you wed your first child in the family. And just know how loved you are. And we pray just favor, and that the wedding, though happening in a very different way than planned originally, would surprise both Allie and Caleb with joy.
Typical Sandra Buller. She takes like what should be her time, and she totally wants to give love to someone else. I wouldn't expect anything less. Thank you, Sandra.
Love you, Jason. I look forward to seeing you, church. Take care of yourselves.
This has been Up Front. We'll see you next weekend.